Welcome to Console Land Episode 2. Maybe you enjoyed the first episode, which was how to build Emacs from source. So if you haven't seen that, you might as well check it out. It's, I'm sure, full of fascinating commentary on open source and the subject of building Emacs. Pardon me. So this is episode 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to show how to put Emacs into hacker mode, which is basic basic customization. And hacker mode is basically just Emacs, no toolbars, no scroll bars, and no menu bar. And it's one of the first things I always do when I have a new fresh Emacs install. So we're going to run Emacs. And because we want to be a true hacker mode, we're going to run it full screen because Emacs is the one true operating system. So we're not quite sure, or I'm not quite sure what your level of Emacs-ism is, but I'll just kind of show you a few things here. So if you're learning, hacker mode is more of an advanced mode for Emacs. You don't necessarily, it's not as intuitive. The menus, they make Emacs a bit more user-friendly, and Lord knows we don't like user-friendly when you're a hacker. So the first thing I do is open up my configuration file, .emacs. In case you don't know how to do that, Control X, Control F. I'll do it again. Control X, Control F shows find file. Type in .emacs, and boom, there you have it. So there's two ways of, well, there's many ways of doing everything in Emacs, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the menu bar first and maybe show you some interesting things along the way. So in my .emacs, that's loaded up by Emacs every time you start it. This is basically just a text file. It allows you to fully customize Emacs because Emacs is one of the most customizable programs in existence, and it's where you start. So so we're going to remove the menu bar. So I'm going to do it using keyboard commands. Right there I just type Control X, Control E, which evaluates the statement before the cursor. If I change this to a 1, Control X, Control E, it brings it back. So that's how you get rid of the menu bar. You can also go Meta X, Menu Bar Mode. And that turns it on, that turns it off. If you want your stuff to persist between sessions, then you want to put it in your .emacs file. Menu bar mode is the same name as the function that you type down as when you meta X into the mini buffer. And that is common. We'll get to that later in some other lesson about why you can actually meta X a function and certain functions and other functions that you can't. Now let's get rid of that pesky toolbar. As you can see, the names of the functions are pretty similar. And Lord knows we don't want to use a scroll bar. Boom. There's other ways of evaluating these things. You can hit Control Meta X, and actually for newbies, if you don't know Meta X, that means Alt X generally, or I think on your OS X box it means what is that called? Command X. I think generally it's mapped to Command X. But generally these are always the first 4 lines of any .emacs file I have. One more I have is global set key. Now what this does is it binds one of the keys. In case you missed how I split that window, it's Control X2. And what I like to do is I like to set my meta semicolon to be other window, which basically allows you to jump through windows. So it's kind of like Alt Tab in Windows, except I find it to be super fast because you use your thumb on the Alt key and you use your pinky, which is always on semicolon, and it allows you to flip through windows really fast. Now, the normal key binding for that is Control XO, and it's slow. I'd much rather have it fast, so this is my little speed secret, is to have global set key meta semicolon other window set all the time. So this is going to be a shorter episode, but as we can see, Control X1, this is your basic .emacs configuration file. Control XS to write .emacs. And now when we exit, Control XC, run it again, we got it back. And one thing we don't like is that startup screen because it gets in the way. So set Q, inhibit, oh sorry, one more thing I like to do, global set key Lisp complete symbol, because if you're not programming in Lisp in Emacs, see, now it allows me to hit meta quote to do completion. Startup message, inhibit startup message, true. So what this does, this basic configuration file now gives us a nice clean Emacs that opens into its scratch buffer, which then allows you to evaluate Lisp expressions on the fly, which is what Emacs is really for, because it's really the poor man's Lisp operating system, or Lisp machine, and that's something that you can't understand it until you know it. So that's what I'm hoping to teach a bit with these videos, and we'll go back to that .emacs file so you can actually type this out yourself. But now, as you can see, you've got a nice Spartan Emacs interface with none of those annoying distractions like many bars, toolbars, and scroll bars. And that's it for this. This is Burton Samograd signing out, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more.